Hello year one and welcome to your maths learning for today. It is Wednesday the 3rd of March 2021. I'm just going to move you up, there we go. So your retrieval is recapping previous learned knowledge and understanding, or a skill that we've been learning. So your number 1 to 10, okay, is your first, and then your next one is your number 1 to 20. Okay, then you can move on to your calendar, so your days of the week, and then on to your months of the year and focus on the season that we are in or going into. So what we are learning to do today is to use arrays to solve division calculations. Okay, so how can we be successful? So arrays is just a way of representing, a written way of representing when we use multiplication and division. And hopefully you have a bit more understanding of what division is, so that equals sharing. And calculation is just like the number sentence. Okay, so knowing what to do, what numbers you need, and what to do with those numbers. So I'm going to show you, it's a bit clearer when I show you as we work through the slides together. So what do you know about division, or what can you remember? So what is division? What does it mean? So have some time to think about that, write it down, share it with someone. Any of those are brilliant. And remember, pause as and when you need to, go forwards, go back, do what you need to do to support you. So division is, what is division? Okay, division is breaking a number into an equal number of parts. It's that equal sharing, okay? So there are some division calculations on the next few slides. Can you work them out? Okay, and can you use objects to support you? You can use objects to support you, but we're trying to come away from that a little bit to start representing it in a written way. So if you didn't have objects, you wouldn't need to, know what to do, or you could use your jottings, they're like jottings, okay, eraser, to support you. So it's just that written method. So follow these steps and use these to help you. So make sure you read the calculation. That's really important, so you know what you need to do. So you're looking at those numbers. Look at how many objects you need, or look at the amount, okay, that you need. Then look at how many groups you are dividing or sharing the object or the number between. Then make sure you share accurately to each group, or when you're doing your arrays, it's done equally across the amount of groups, okay? So I'm not going to look at all of them together because I want you to work through the slides yourselves and have a try. However, I will do a few with you and discuss with you as we go along. So I have got a whiteboard behind me, which I'll try and show you on here because it was a bit tricky last time doing it on paper, holding it up. And for some reason on PowerPoint, I'm not able to kind of draw on there. So it's a bit tricky. So for the first one, okay, so the first thing we need to do is going back to those steps, we need to read the calculation. So the calculation reads 4 divided by 2 is the same as. Okay, so that's my calculation, and I need to work out what to do using my arrays. I'm just going to move that slightly. Okay, so you'd have your number sentence written out, or you might print these off, and then what I'm going to show you is how we use arrays, so those jottings, to divide. So I know that I need to use the amount of 4, that's my biggest number, and I'm sharing that 4 between 2. Okay, you might want to draw your circles to share to start off with to support you. However, I go straight into the crosses, but I'll show you both ways because they're both absolutely fine. I do my crosses first and then circle them, but that's kind of a next step. If you feel you need to start off with your groups, your circles, and draw them yourself, then that's also fine. So you might want to, with your question, draw out your 2 circles. It's not very clear on here, is it? Try to do my best so you can see. So there we go. So I've got my 2 circles, okay? Because that is my group I'm sharing between. I need to share 4 between these 2 groups. And I'm going to use the crosses as a way of using representing my jottings, just because it's accurate and easier to count than circles or dots. So it's go 1 into one group, 2 into the other group. Now remember, I'm sharing the amount of 4, okay, the number 4. So I've got 1, 2, I go back to the group over here, and then over here. And I'm going to check I've got 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. What I now need to do is I need to work out, when I'm dividing 4 between 2, how many there is in each group, or how many each person gets. If you think of them as objects or sweets, how many sweets do I get? How many sweets does Mrs. Swan get? Okay? Hopefully that's equal, so it's fair and it's the same. So I get 2, so I might write the number 2 here to help me. And then I might write my other 2 under here, okay? So that is my answer. Now, you might not want to draw the groups, you might want to go straight into your crosses, which is also absolutely fine. That might be something that you move on to. So you might, with your 4 divided by 2, just count your 1, 2, so there's my 2 groups, and I'll just carry on sharing. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I can circle after. I've got 1 group here, 1 group here. I've got 1, 2 in this circle, 1, 2 in this circle. Okay, already my pen's running out, which isn't very good. So they're the 2 ways that you can represent your jotting. So your arrays are just what I showed you there. It's where my crosses are almost lined up into groups, and that's something that you'll use as well in your multiplication as you move on. So next one then is 6 divided by 2. Okay, now something interesting about 2, when we divide between 2, we know that as halving a number. So when we divide by 2, we are halving a number. So splitting it into 2 equal groups. Okay, so 6 divided by 2, or what is half of 6, we could say. Okay, that's a part of the fly high today, if you can explain that. So I'll try this blue pen if that's any better. My question is 6 divided by 2. That's not any better, is it? No, that's not great. My black. That's a bit better, isn't it? 6 divided by 2 is the same as. So then you can write in your answer there. So I can draw how many groups I need and then add in my arrays, my crosses, or you can go straight into your crosses and then circle the groups after. Completely up to you. You might want to start with your circle. So I need 2 groups. So let's draw my 2 groups. This time I'm sharing the number 6. That's my largest, my biggest number. So remember to share equally. So we go from one side to the other and count as you go. So I'm sharing 6. So I'll share 1, 2, 3, 4, back over here, 5, 6. Okay, so then I count how many I have and how many Mrs. Swan has, or how many I have and how many you have. So I have 1, 2, 3 in here, and 1, 2, 3 in here, and they are the same, they are equal amounts. Okay, so 6 divided by 2, we both get 3 each. So the answer is 3. Okay, now if I was to show you me dividing it into a different way, I'll keep that number sentence there, that calculation. Okay. Now, if I show you me dividing like this, okay, and I divide 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I lose where I'm sharing and I lose where I am. So then it gets a little bit confusing. That's why it's really important when you're sharing to share into one group, the other group, one group, other group. So 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, so it's easier to see what you are doing. Now, as you move through the slides, the numbers will change slightly, that whole number you are of objects or that amount you need to share, but also the amount you're sharing between. So really be careful what you're sharing between, because we've done 6 divided by 2, but as you can see here, we're not dividing that whole number by 2 this time. We are dividing it by the number 3, which means your groups will also change. You won't need 2 groups, you need 3. Okay? So you might want to draw out your 3 circles, or you can just start straight sharing with your arrays. So you might want to draw your 3, 1, 2, 3. Oh, Miss Robinson, and draw in your crosses. So it might be this is for me, this is for Mrs. Swan, and this one is for Mrs. Brackenbury. Okay, so we go 1. Oh, put the number out there. Sorry about that. 1, 2, 3, and then after I've gone across, and then I need to go back. 4, 5, 6. And then I count how many's in this group. So I've got 1, 2, and then I've got how many in here? 1, 2. Write that underneath if that helps you. And then I've got how many in this group? 1, 2. So now I can see that I've got 2, Mrs. Swan's got 2, and Mrs. Brackenbury's got 2. So your answer is how many each person gets, how many is in each group. So we all get 2 each. It's equal, it's same, it's fair. Okay, brilliant. So I'll work your way through the slides, okay, with the different numbers. And then at the end of those, there's a fly high challenge question for you to try, a bit more of a word problem to build you up to Friday's learning, which will be all about word problems, using arrays to work out word problems. And then there are some more questions just to prompt your understanding of division. So really think about these questions. So can you share or divide in another way? So you might know your number factor, 2s, 5s and 10s. You might know that, or here, you might have known that you can have 2, 4, 6. You might be able to count in your 2s and know that how many 2s are in 6 using your multiplication terms tables. Then think about when we halve a number, what are we dividing the number by? So remember I spoke about that, so you can always go back to support you with that. And can we share an odd number? And how do we know if a number is odd or even? So there's some questions to think about. And as always, I've put some of the answers on the slides for you, so don't peek. And think about your plenary, so rounding up your learning from today. So what have you learned about division? Thinking about your arrays, so it's your sort of it's kind of your representation, your written method, okay? It's basically your jottings for division. And then please share your learning with us on the parent support email. Also use that email to contact us if you need some support with anything, or you need some help, or you have some questions, because we're more than happy to help you, and we will get back to you if you do need some help with this, because it is quite a difficult concept that the children might not have been exposed to before, especially in the form of arrays. So if you do need some support, please contact us and we can help you. Okay, good luck and enjoy your learning.